Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome students. Today let us continue the socio-religious movement led by various socio-religious leaders. In the last class we have discussed the Acharya Trayas, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya, and at the same time Basavarna. They have tried their best to reform the society and at the same time religion. And today, as a continuation, that is the Bhakti movement. Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Basavarna, Madhvacharya, they led the religious movement or socio-religious movement in the southern part of India. Whereas the Bhakti movement is equal to the socio-religious movement in the South India. In the North India, during the medieval period, a Bhakti movement was led by various religious saints like Ramanand, Kabir, Guru Nanak, Chaitanya, Mirabai, and even Sufi saints. They are the Muslim religious leaders, they are the Sufi saints. That is called Sufism. So coming to the Bhakti movement led by the Hindu religious leaders, that is Ramananda. And the aim of this movement, especially, what were the aims of this movement? They gave importance to devotion, harmony, social equality, and even gender equality. There were so many problems, so many evils, even the society and religion. And these leaders tried to eradicate all these social and religious evils and modify it. So that's what gender inequality, caste system and social inequalities, all these things, or there were no harmony among the people. So in order to solve this problem, this Bhakti movement started. And Ramananda, coming to the point, Ramananda, he lived in between 400 to 470 Common Era. A credit of popularizing Bhakti movement for the first time goes to Ramananda. And he is a very powerful religious saint. He propagated Bhakti Chaluvali or Bhakti movement in North India. He preached Vaishnavism. That is the Vaishnavism and what we call the Visishtadvaita. Visishtadvaita, which was preached by Ramanujacharya and now followed by Ramananda, and he popularized it. And Ramananda was against caste system. Caste system was prevailing in the northern India. Now he was also fought against the caste system. And another important leader or socio-religious leader was Kabir. And this Kabir, he lived in between 440 to 1518. That is, he brought up, this Guru Nanak was brought up by Muslim weavers, a couple of Muslim weaver. They brought up this Guru Nanak, and their name was Neeru and Neema. Neema and Neeru. Where the parents, they brought up, they are not the original parent, they brought up Guru Nanak. And Guru Nanak, he preached equality among the people. There should not be inequality. All people are equal. There was no caste system. No caste is higher, no caste is lower. And nobody should ill-treat another people. So that is what. This is the idea of Kabir. And he propagated unity of Hindu and Muslim. Hindu-Muslim unity. The main theme of Kabir's preaching was, that is, Hindu-Muslim unity. Hindu-Muslim unity. In order to establish peace, there should be unity among or between Hindu and Muslim. And he says, Kabir says, God could be neither found in the temple nor in the mosque. Who told? God is in the mosque or in the temple? Nowhere. God resides nowhere. You can't find God in a temple or mosque, but He is in your heart. You feel the God yourself. If you don't feel the God yourself, you can't find the God in the temple or in mosque or in church. It is your futile attempt to search the God in the temple, in the mosque, in the church. You search yourself, what we call the Atma, in a heart. Atma is the place where God resides. You feel Him, God in yourself. And he condemned idol worship. Keeping one idol, how? You can't find the God. But if without idol, if you feel the God, that is great. That's only the thing. That's why he condemned it. He was against to this. And God could be attained only through bhakti. By reciting mantra in a loud voice, or by lighting the lamp, you can't find the God. But you find even the God by devotion, bhakti, bhakti marga. So that is why bhakti is very important to see the God. If you don't have the bhakti, you can't identify God. So that is another philosophy. And his devotional compositions, he wrote many devotional compositions, that is called Doha. Doha of Kabir, Kabir's Doha. Doha. So this is what about Kabir. Coming to Guru Nanak, another one, Guru Nanak, he lived in 1442, 1518. And he founded a religion that is called Sikhism. Sikhism. Sikhs. That Sikhism was founded by Guru Nanak, and he preached the brotherhood of mankind. All mankind, all people are brothers. They are not different caste, different religion, different entity, but we are all one. We are all brothers and sisters. We belong to same family. Like that. So that's a wonderful, concept developed by Guru Nanak. We are all one. And he was influenced by the teachings of Kabir, and he was against idol worship, caste system, and other social evils. Even sati. What all the social system or evils prevailed during that time, that Guru Nanak was absolutely against to this system. And he said, misunderstanding is the main cause between the clash Hindus and Muslims. Hindus and Muslims, they are quarreling, they are fighting each other. Why? Nothing else, because of the misunderstanding. Even today, Hindus and Muslims are fighting not because of anything else, because of the misunderstanding. What we have to do? We should understand better, understand clearly. If you understand every religion, Hindu religion should be understood by Hindu and Muslim religion should be understood by Muslims. And each should try to understand both the religion. What is there? All religion preaches same thing. Peace and coexistence. And non-violence. Non-violence. This is the, theme of every religion, and we are misunderstanding each other, and that is why we are quarreling. This is the Guru Nanak's idea. And then at the age of 30, he got enlightenment, and further 30 years he got spiritual knowledge and preached many things, and his disciples or followers were called Sikhs. And this Sikh religion has its own holy books, that is called Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Granth Sahib. This is like a Quran for Islam, Bhagavad Gita for Hindus, and Bible for Christians. Likewise, Guru Granth Sahib for Sikhs. And then, apart from these great leaders, even Chaitanya, Mirabai, and they also try to preach many aspects. Both of them, they were the Vaishnavists. They preached many things and spiritualities, etc. Apart from them, what we can see, even Mirabai, she is after the death of her husband, she was the keen devotee of Krishna. She herself sacrificed to Krishna, and her devotional songs, that is in Brija Bhasha, in the Brija Bhasha language, written, and partly in Rajasthani, and that is called bhajans, Mirabai's bhajans. So that is very important aspect. Coming to the changes in the religion and society, what they tried by looking at these reforms, even Muslim leaders, saints, they tried to bring certain changes in their religion, their society, and that is called Sufism. That is called Sufism. This term Sufi derived from the Saf. Sufism derived from the word Saf, which means wool. Wool. Because these saints, they used woolen clothes. Woolen clothes. That's why they came to be known as Sufis and Sufi saints. And their main purpose, that is the religious equality, harmony and devotion. What they preached, all religions are same, one and the same. There is no superiority or inferiority. All are equal. All are equal. We can't say Hinduism is great or Islam is great or Christianity is great. All are equal. There is no superiority or inferiority among the religion what they propagate. So everything should be looked at in a pure heart. There should not be any difference. We should not look at in a different angle. That is what their, what you call important thing. And even there were two orders. That is Chishti order, Sufi saints, Chishti order, which was founded by Khwaja Abdul Chishti. And another one, Suharwadi. That is Suharwadi was founded by Sheikh Sahabuddin Suharwadi. So these are all the two important orders in Sufism. So this is what as a whole socio-religious movement in the South India and Bhakti movement including Sufism in the North India. So very, very systematically they contributed for the religion and society or improvement or reform of society and improving the system. So thank you very much.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.